Hi, my name is Jamie Anderson. Welcome to Empowered Parenting Perspectives. What I wanted to talk about today is what we call a positive guidance strategy, and it is reflective statements. And reflective statements can be used in so many different ways with children. Today, I wanted to share how reflective statements can specifically support positive behavior. So we will talk a little bit about the definition of reflective statements, like what do they look like, along with some examples, a resource that you might use to have some reference for using reflective statements, as well as benefits of using reflective statements with your children. So stay tuned and we will talk about all of the important details relating to reflective statements. Let's back up just a little bit, and I wanted to talk about this dynamic of negative phrasing. It is so incredibly common and understandable how we get into these modes with our children where we use a lot of negative phrasing, such as stop doing that, don't do that. It happens oftentimes when we have more time with our children as well, and we get really tired. It's just a natural phenomena, and it happens to all parents at some point in time. What are reflective statements then? We're kind of talking about getting out of this dynamic where we have a lot of negative phrasing. Reflective statements are statements that zero in on positive attributes that our children are displaying, such as kindness, helpfulness, and gentleness. And when we reflect back to them, we tend to encourage more of the same. They're kind of magical that way. An example of a reflective statement might be, look at how gently you are petting the dog. Perhaps you've got a new pet and your child is just really learning how to be gentle. So along with stating the word gentle, we might want to model what gentleness looks like. We can also explain what gentleness looks like. So the first tip is to be specific. And by using the word gentle versus say the word nice, we are specifically describing what we want our child to do. Many times people use the word nice, but the challenge with it is it's not specific enough really to offer this wide range of ideas about what these different behaviors look like. So for example, the word kind and the word nice and the word gentle all kind of intermesh together, but we can break these characteristics down for our children so they're very specific, so we can ask for them in our children, we can talk about them, and most importantly, we can notice them. Our second tip is to reflect on the behaviors that you want to encourage. So an example of look at how patiently you are waiting for a turn on the swing might be noticed when you realize, I really want to encourage more patience with my child. Now, keep in mind, developmentally, children aren't very patient, right? A lot of adults aren't patient. So, but we're kind of thinking in our mind perhaps that we want our child to become more patient. And when we notice it, we want to just really take that moment in time to be able to say, hey, I see that you're being patient. The next tip is use reflective statements with your baby. And you might think in your mind, my baby doesn't know what I'm talking about. Why would it matter? Well, it matters for a couple of reasons. One is when you are using reflective statements with your little one, they know that you are tuning into them because you're looking at them, you're using language with them, and they feel that, and it feels really good. And pretty soon, when they become a toddler, they are going to know what you were talking about, such as you are helping mommy put on your shirt. And I remember when my son was little and he would kind of squirrel his arm up into his sleeve and I would say, ooh, look at how you're helping mommy put on your shirt. And he would delight and giggle when I would do that, even though he didn't really know what I was saying. What are some positive behaviors that you can look for in your child? There is this beautiful list from the Virtues Project. And the Virtues Project is It's a project relating to supporting character in children for families and for educators. And as you can see, there are many virtues, but there are many more. So let's go peek at the website. If you go to virtuesproject.com, it talks about the mission. Now, granted, it is faith-based, but it's not proselytizing in any way. Why I wanted to point this out to you is if you come up here to this link called the virtues, I'm calling them characteristics, but they call them virtues. You can click on it and it gives you this definition here of the virtues. If you click on Discover the Virtues, it has this long list of virtues and definitions of each virtue. And you can decide what are some important virtues that I want to be bringing out in my child right now. And then if you come back to that same link, you will see a poster that you can download as well, that you might want to, again, circle some of these virtues that you find really important. Maybe not all of them speak to you, but you can print it off, put it on your refrigerator, circle what you want to be working on with your child right now. Now that you have an idea of the definition of reflective statements, you probably realize that you are already doing this positive guidance strategy with your child. Let's talk about some of the benefits of using reflective statements. The first benefit is the relationship with our children really flourish when we tune into them in this really meaningful way. Children really crave our attention, and so when we're giving them this positive attention, it just makes our relationship with them really wonderful and can give us this reprieve from feeling like we're just overwhelmed by parenting when we take this moment to really notice their positive behavior. Another benefit is children feel deeply seen when we take the time to notice these positive characteristics. It boosts their esteem and just makes them feel really loved. Another benefit that I think is kind of magical, and that is that it encourages more positive behavior. It's infectious. So we notice it, we talk about it, we notice it again, and children tend to want to do it more when we take this time to notice a positive behavior. Lastly, we feel good when we notice positive behaviors in our children. We can get really caught up in tasks of the day and just functioning, right? Getting our family to and from places. And when we take this moment to really notice something our child is doing, it feels good to us as well. And there's a bonus. It supports language development. As we are introducing these characteristics and defining them or modeling them, we're really expanding their vocabulary of these characteristics that they can build within themselves. Quick overview: print out and post the virtues poster on your refrigerator. Perhaps circle some of the virtues or characteristics that you want to currently support in your child or have family members look for. Be specific, hopefully avoiding the word nice. No big deal if you use it, but it's helpful to be more specific than the word nice. And zero in on specific characteristics that you are thinking about, right? Maybe you're realizing your child is struggling with being gentle. And so when you see your child being gentle, like, ooh, take that moment to notice it. So please share below. Let's build this community and have this feeling of positivity where we can share our own parenting journey, and share below what kind of positive characteristics that you are noticing in your child lately. Thank you for being here, and see you next time.